Imagine a business model so catastrophic that the only way to survive is to declare war on your own customers. Imagine a company that sells dollar bills for 60 cents, hoping to make up the difference with data. This sounds like a joke, but in 2017, in the United States, this was a real corporation worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This is the story of MoviePass. It is a saga that begins with the greatest deal in the history of entertainment and ends with a desperate CEO illegally hacking his own users' passwords to stop them from going to the cinema. It is the story of the most spectacular, self-inflicted $400 million suicide in Silicon Valley history. August 15, 2017. New York City. A relatively unknown technology company sends out a press release that will fundamentally break the laws of economics. Their announcement is simple yet impossible. Any movie, at any theater, every single day, for only $9.95 a month. At this specific moment in time, in the United States, the average price of a single movie ticket in a major city like Los Angeles or New York was about $15. MoviePass was offering you a deal where you could see 30 movies a month for the price of half of a ticket. It was the economic equivalent of a car dealership offering to sell you brand new Ferraris for $100 each. It didn't make sense, it couldn't make sense, but it was real. To understand the magnitude of this disaster, we must look at the mechanism. How did it work? MoviePass sent you a red MasterCard debit card in the mail. When you went to the cinema, you checked in on their app. The app would instantly load the full price of the ticket onto that debit card, and you would swipe it. If the ticket cost $16, MoviePass put $16 on the card. They paid the theater the full price. But you, the customer, only paid MoviePass $9.95 a month. If you saw just one movie a month, MoviePass lost money. If you saw two, they bled money. If you were a film lover and saw 10 movies, you were essentially robbing them. And millions of Americans decided to do exactly that. The architects of this madness were Mitch Lowe, a co-founder of Netflix who should have known better, and Ted Farnsworth, a financier with a history of failed penny stock companies. Their logic was a buzzword salad typical of the late 2010s tech bubble. They claimed they didn't need to make money on tickets. They claimed data is the new oil. They argued that by tracking the habits of moviegoers, they could sell that data to studios, sell merchandise, and eventually force big theater chains like AMC to give them a cut of the ticket sales. They called it disruption. The rest of the world called it lighting cash on fire. The reaction was instant. In August 2017, within hours of the price drop, the MoviePass servers crashed. The demand was so high that they couldn't print the plastic debit cards fast enough. People waited weeks, then months for their cards. But when the cards arrived, it felt like magic. Customers described it as having a cheat code for real life. In a world where everything was getting more expensive, here was a company subsidizing your entertainment. Throughout late 2017 and early 2018, MoviePass became a cultural phenomenon in the United States. They went from 20,000 subscribers to over 3 million in less than a year. The stock price of their parent company, Helios and Matheson Analytics, soared. Wall Street bought the hype. But the math was relentless. By the spring of 2018, MoviePass was losing over $20 million every single month. They were effectively subsidizing the entire American film industry. Every time a blockbuster like Avengers: Infinity War came out, MoviePass executives panicked. While fans cheered, MoviePass was terrified because millions of users swiping their cards meant millions of dollars instantly leaving the company bank account, never to return. Instead of fixing the business model, the leadership decided to spend even more money. In a display of incredible hubris, Ted Farnsworth decided that MoviePass should also produce its own movies. They spent millions acquiring a film called Gotti, starring John Travolta. It was a critical and commercial disaster, scoring a rare 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. So while the core business was bleeding to death, they were burning the remaining cash on bad movies and lavish parties at the Coachella Music Festival. The breaking point arrived in the summer of 2018, specifically the weekend of July 27, 2018. This date is crucial. It was the opening weekend of Mission: Impossible Fallout. On that Friday night, millions of subscribers walked up to box offices across America ready to see Tom Cruise jump out of a plane. They opened the MoviePass app. They tried to check in. And nothing happened. the app showed an error message. The cards were declined. The reason wasn't a technical glitch. It was simple bankruptcy. MoviePass had literally run out of money. The bank account was empty. They couldn't load the cash onto the debit cards. In a panic, the executives did something unprecedented. They took out an emergency loan of $5 million with an exorbitant interest rate, just to turn the servers back on for the weekend. They were borrowing money at loan shark rates just to give it away to customers. From that moment on, the dream turned into a nightmare. Realizing they could not survive, the company began to wage war against its own users. They couldn't legally cancel the subscriptions without admitting defeat, so they decided to make the service unusable. In August 2018, users noticed strange things. The app would claim that all screenings were sold out, even when the theater was empty. Popular movies like Black Panther or generic Marvel films simply disappeared from the app. They introduced surge pricing, asking users to pay extra for popular times, which defeated the whole purpose of the subscription. Later, investigations revealed the dark truth. It wasn't just incompetence, it was sabotage. Leaked audio and employee testimonies revealed that Mitch, Lowe, and Ted Farnsworth had ordered engineers to implement tripwires. If a user watched too many movies, the system would intentionally change their password so they couldn't log in. They purposely crashed the app for heavy users. They created a ticket verification process that was designed to fail. The company that had promised any movie any day was now effectively saying no movies ever. By 2019, the game was over. The stock price of the parent company, which had once traded at thousands of dollars, adjusted for splits, crashed to fractions of a penny. They were delisted from the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Thousands of investors lost their savings. The subscribers, feeling betrayed, canceled in droves. On September 14, 2019, MoviePass officially shut down its servers. The wreckage was total, but the legacy of MoviePass is fascinating. In their attempt to disrupt the industry, they actually did change it, just not in the way they intended. The major theater chains, terrified by the popularity of MoviePass, realized that people loved the subscription model. AMC launching Stubbs A-List and Regal launching Unlimited were direct responses to MoviePass. MoviePass died so that the subscription model could live. They proved that customers wanted this service, but they also proved that you cannot ignore the basic laws of arithmetic. You cannot sell $1 for 60 cents and make it up in volume. Today, looking back at the chaos of 2017 and 2018, MoviePass stands as a monument to the growth at all costs era of Silicon Valley. It was a company that had millions of customers, a beloved product, and global fame, but lacked the one thing a business actually needs: a way to make money. It was the most fun, beautiful, and stupid business experiment of the decade. And for those of us who got to see unlimited movies for $9.95, it was the greatest heist we ever pulled.